This presentation is to tell instructors something about the White Label Restaurants Microworld business game. And we're going to say a little bit about what the game actually is. We're going to talk about the benefits that come from using it. We'll say a little bit about how to actually use it as a process in your class and how to integrate it in a wider course. And we'll end with some steps that you can take next if you're interested in finding out more. So let's get stuck into what the game is actually all about. It's an online team-based strategy game, although individuals can use it too. It's based in the context of a multi-unit restaurant business, which will be familiar to pretty much anyone who plays it. You're running the business as part of a corporate organisation, so corporate headquarters set funding that allows you to expand the business and also sets profit targets for you to hit. And there is a simulated competitor and multiple scenarios built into the game, so you can play lots of different games in the same activity. What you have to do as a team or an individual playing this is you have to balance these three pressures. Yes, you want to achieve growth for the business, but that growth has to deliver profitability for your head office owners, and you have to maintain quality for the customers who are coming into the business, because if you don't get that, then you won't get either profitability or growth. And the game is highly realistic because it was developed by an industry strategy director. All the way through the game, which runs over 10 years in quarterly decisions, players have constantly got to be answering this question: why has profit actually got to the point that it's got to today? Now, given that understanding, they have to think about where performance might go if they carry on like this. And of course, they have to figure out a way of improving that performance going out into the future. To help them with all this, they have standard reports. This example is just an income statement for each individual restaurant. They have helpful feedback messages. This one is telling them about their recent performance, and it looks like head office is not very happy with how things are going right at the moment. If they do really badly for too long, they will actually get fired. They can call up time charts on everything in the business, and they have a relatively limited but quite powerful set of decisions to make each quarter to do with pricing, the investment they make in the spending in the business, and how much they're going to request from head office for capital to expand the business. What are the benefits that come from actually using this game? Well, for learners, what we're really looking for is we're looking for the most effective possible learning that we can get out of every hour of class time. And we know very well that we can ensure that effective learning when the students are strongly engaged in what they're doing. So how does a game achieve that strong engagement? Well, it's a fun setting. It's a setting that everyone is familiar with, so they can get into it in a very real sense. It's very clear because of the way the game presents the information, what exactly is causing what. There's no mystery why sales are changing the way they are, or profits are growing or falling as they are. They're learning by doing all the time, which we know is far more effective than reading about things or listening to other people talking about it. And it's student-led. They're going at their own pace with their colleagues. They're not being marched through some step-by-step process led by the instructor. Now, for you as instructors, there are some additional benefits. You can get going with this, and the students get going with this really fast. It just takes a few minutes to get everyone understanding what's going on and playing the game. It takes rather little class time. This is not one of those big blockbuster games that last for days and take hours and hours and hours. It's very easy for you to manage. The system provides good management tools for you to administer the game and check on students and groups' performance. Because it's all online, it's great for online classes. You can use it as part of blended learning with a mix of online learning time for the students on their own and face-to-face class time. And all of that saves you precious contact time. And of course, because this is highly effective learning with strong engagement, you get great evaluations as an instructor, in addition to all these other benefits. So how do you actually use this in your class, and how do you incorporate it in your course? Well, optionally, you can get the students to familiarise themselves with the game before they even come to class. There's a very simple demo to explain to them how to actually play the game. You need to give them some introduction in class. Optionally, you can talk about some of the standard strategy frameworks that apply to this business, and we provide the necessary presentation material for you to do that. And you need to give them some briefing about what exactly you want them to do with the game and the objectives that you want them to try to achieve. And those two pieces should take about half an hour each at most. And then they can go into the team game playing activity, and you'll probably find that they will not actually welcome you going around and trying to coach them or give them advice. They'll just want to get on with it and do it for themselves. And then you'll need to spend half an hour to an hour at the end debriefing what they've learned, why some groups did well, some groups did less well, and so on. Now, what you can do is you can squeeze all these timings quite a lot if you want a short, punchy in-class activity in a short time. But this is a typical timetable for a teaching event with the game. And if you want the best learning possible, then it's really best if teams have a chance to repeat the activity a second time. And you will probably want to introduce more concepts for the second round of the game and set the students a new challenge to pursue, maybe something more complex or more demanding for them to try to achieve. Now, there are various ways in which you can incorporate this in your already existing courses. First of all, you can introduce this game right up front at the beginning of your course as an icebreaker and get your students really motivated about your course. You may want to introduce it partway through your course to bring certain topics to life. Maybe you want to focus on issues of service management, or how does competition work, or how does this relationship between headquarters and business units play out. The real difference this game offers compared with talking about standard strategy tools is that it's really about implementation. You implement strategy by making decisions and seeing what the results of those decisions and going around that again. So if you want to talk about implementation, that's a place to introduce it in your standard course. And lastly, you can use it as a great capstone at the end of the course to integrate what you've learned during the program. And one particularly useful thing that some of our users have done is to use the game both as an icebreaker at the beginning of the course and then introduce it again at the end of the course as the capstone. So it provides a wrapper around the course that you're running. What should you do next? Well, if you want to find out more, watch how the game works by going to this very simple demonstration of the game actually being used. You can request an evaluation at this address, and that gives you access to the game itself and evaluation copies of all the support material. Lastly, you can request a quote. These are current academic and corporate prices for the game, and you have the option of running it in such a way that the institution itself will pay for the use of the game, or we have options to have students pay for the game. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to hearing from you about your experience of using our game.